Hey everybody, it's kind of unusual today. Mixed with the chemtrails, we have some real clouds. So less glaring sun today anyway, it's kind of nice. I wanted to talk to you about a different subject today. People are still emailing me saying how terrible Donald Trump is. And I want to remind everybody that it's not about Donald Trump or any other of the elected officials or anything like that. The whole purpose of this Lost Arts radio project is really about you. And the reason for that is that even if you're not an elected official, or even if no one's ever heard of you, there are potentials that you've got that you need to act on. That's the whole purpose of this show, so that you can get health and energy back and feel good again and stop worrying about degenerative disease and aging and infectious diseases and stuff like that. Keep your energy really high and feeling good all the time, but that's level one. The other thing is that we're trying to share some unusual information with you that's been around since the beginning of humanity on this planet, but it is not commonly realized nowadays, and it's really needed. And that's about consciousness. And I hate to use any cliche word like that because it doesn't come close to really covering what we're talking about. But you have potential to change the world situation, not even by what you say so much, but by what the energy is behind it. And if you change that internally, you become a powerful influence that affects the future of the world. That's what it's about. When you get down to Donald Trump and things like that, it's still important issues because you need to understand how the media works and how government works and what the agendas of government are, just to be aware of your surroundings as they really are, so that you'll be less susceptible to the brainwashing, right? But it's not where the real work is to be done. So the only point, I guess, about even dealing with this thing about Trump is that realize it's an example of this coordinated disinformation, slander, lying, and it would be applied to you too if you ran for or actually became president or some high official and you started telling the truth about a lot of stuff and also had the motive to try to help your country and help the world. You would be attacked exactly like Donald Trump is being attacked right now. And they'd say you were a racist, a complete idiot, an egomaniac, no vocabulary. I mean, all this stupid stuff that they say about Trump, they would say about you if your motive was to help the world. And in my analysis of Donald Trump, and I've looked at it pretty deeply, that is his motive. He didn't give up a really comfortable, isolated lifestyle where he didn't have to deal with a lot of people, wasn't attacked by the media, got to keep all of his money and stuff like that. He wouldn't give that up just for fun, or the media wants you to think it's because he's selfish or an egomaniac. That's not even logical. He didn't want to give it up, and he had a meeting in, I think it was in Ireland, to really think about it, and his wife finally ended up saying, you really need to do this no matter what it does to our life. And that's the basis on which he decided. That's why he's being attacked and demonized, and you're told that he can't talk, that he hates everybody, and Russian agent, and hates women, and hates people of all different races, and this is all complete nonsense. And they hope that you're dumb enough and brainwashed enough to say, oh yeah, he's really terrible. No, this is the same media that supported President Bush's invasion of Iraq, which was completely based on fraud. It supported Barack Obama's destruction of the country of Libya, completely unethical and illegal. They're the same media that tells you there's no cure for cancer, chemtrails don't exist, vaccines are safe and effective. That's the media that hates Donald Trump, or that is saying things based on hatred of Donald Trump. Okay, so you just, what do they say? Consider the source. doesn't mean Donald Trump's perfect. He's got huge areas of ignorance in spite of his incredible, obvious courage. If you weren't brainwashed, you would see that right away. To stand up against all these thousands of media outlets attacking him. Most of the Republicans hate him because they're dominated by the same corporations that dominate the media. Many of them are paid for or blackmailed to obey whatever they're told to do in Congress, and that's why they don't have to read what they vote on, because they're just told what to do. Donald Trump's not one of those. The problem with Donald Trump is his areas of ignorance that he doesn't know about, and that he's still trusting of the wrong people in terms of getting pushed into attacking Syria, getting bullied into not communicating with Russia. These are huge faults. Not because of his malice or because of any of the things they say is wrong with him, but because he let himself be influenced by corrupt advisors and enemies that he unknowingly brings in who work against him as soon as they're in power. Bolton's probably one of the most recent ones, trying to undermine the incredibly great developments in Korea that the media wants you to think are all worthless and stupid and bad, and Trump is doing it for all the... No, Trump is doing something wonderful in Korea if the powers that be don't succeed in undermining it, which they are trying to do. And they'll do anything to prevent you seeing how great that is. And finally, Trump is saying that he wants Russia back into the group of the what used to be called the G8 group of countries, and then was G7 because Russia was kicked out. He says, no, Russia should be included. And in reality, Russia should be, Trump should have met with Putin the day he was elected. I mean, it's that important, and Russia's showing tendencies to do things that we need to emulate, such as kicking out GMOs, resisting the Wi-Fi and putting in fiber optic instead, which we desperately need to do. Trump, I don't think, even knows about the importance of those kind of things. Needs to learn from Putin or anybody else, Organic Consumers Association, or anybody else who will tell him. Although OCA has fallen for the hate Trump thing, and that's a big mistake. Hating anybody is a big mistake. Trump's not doing this because he's bad. He's doing this because he needs the education, and some of us hopefully will be able to get that to him. Anyway, people can be great people. Understand they can be really good people and have huge areas of lack of knowledge, make big mistakes. All of us have made terrible mistakes. It's like, you know, whoever hasn't made any of those mistakes, you can throw the first stone, right? Otherwise, there's a reason not to. Because we need to be working on ourselves instead. We are the ones to turn around the future of this planet for the better, not any particular elected leader. But just know that the media is on this hate destroy campaign, and not only against Trump, but against anybody who speaks the truth. That's why they arrested Tommy Robinson, or telling us that he's a terrible person. Anybody who's going to say things that we're not supposed to know. That's why none of Trump's good accomplishments are promoted on the media at all. Stopping TPP was incredible. Getting us out of the fraudulent Paris Climate Accord was wonderful. Trying to secure the borders is essential for any country, not just America. And then maintaining sovereignty of each and every country, but from that basis, they all work together and cooperate, instead of this multinational controlling force that can override your own laws, your own constitution and stuff. Trump does understand why that's deadly. And the Democrats are saying he's an idiot, and most of the corrupt Republicans are too. He's not at all an idiot. He's brilliant, but he has huge areas of ignorance that you and everybody else can help fill in, not necessarily by writing letters, which nobody may ever see. I mean, you can, that can be good. But the main thing is work on yourself. We need to all work on ourselves. And what I'm suggesting for working on yourself is get your health back first. You know, the same media that we're talking about is telling you all this fake information about health and suggesting things, doing all these drug commercials, and they'll say, by the way, they may kill you, but ask your doctor if it's right for you, right? I mean, they think you're that far gone that you'll fall for that kind of stuff. And if you have people swallowing toxic chemicals to get healthy, this is not brilliant, okay? I mean, I fell for it a long time ago too. So it's not that anybody's bad for making that mistake, but just at some point, if you want to make a good contribution to the world, take care of yourself first. Get your health and energy back. That clears your mind. Get rid of the idea that you have to hate anybody, even the people doing intentional harm. There are a lot of those, unfortunately, in positions of great power. But you don't need to hate them either. That just compromises your own energy and your own potential. The reality, and not the philosophy, but the real potential of using love for everything is much stronger than we're allowed to hear about. But it's really true. It's not a religion. It's not a belief system. It's not a philosophy. It's something real. And to access it, what I'm suggesting is learn the real laws of health and taking care of yourself first, then put them into practice every day. Change your programming. And there are ways to actually do that are not fake. They really work. And then from that platform of feeling good, your body's working great, you don't feel like you're worried about getting sick or old or anything. From there, you start your real work. And that's all in the internal area of consciousness. And it's not just so that you'll feel great while everything's falling apart. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm saying waking up forgotten abilities that you have. Not just somebody else, you. They're very powerful. There's a reason that the power structure is relying on negative frequencies that all of these microwave transmissions are causing and using, and what the 5G will be. That's about trying to corrupt and control your thoughts and emotions and hurt you physically in your health. That's what 5G is for. Alex Jones is right. It's to kill you, and so is Fullerton, Informer, and a lot of other good sources that are warning you. 5G is intentionally to hurt not just humans, but all life. But it's also a clue. The rulers are not stupid. They're not idiots at all. They're just malicious. So we need to help them change that. But they're giving us clues all the time into what to do. So they say, look, frequency is a really powerful weapon. Well, the clue is when you reverse that frequency and you realize your ability to transmit, which is real and you're never supposed to find out about, that's the opposite. That's a very powerful healing force. And you can wake that up and use it. Help all the elected officials without saying a word by changing the atmosphere. You're the source of that. If you want to know about details in a private environment where I can talk more freely, try to get into lostartsradio.com/club. There's a little bit of small dues that go toward the nonprofit to hopefully build a school in the near future. But if you can't get into the Lost Arts Radio Planetary Healing Club, which is where I can talk about all this stuff freely, then just at least keep watching the videos. Those are free. And all the great guest shows every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And join us for that, because it's free educational service. If you can get into the club, great. I'd like to meet you there. That's interactive. That's video. And we can chat the whole time. lostartsradio.com/club. Otherwise, you don't need me to tell you about this at all. It doesn't belong to me or anybody else. It's been around, and teachers have been talking about it since the beginning of humanity on Earth. It's been available to you forever. So I'm suggesting this might be a nice time to start learning, absorbing it, put it into practice, and help us turn things around in the world. Make a better future situation for the babies being born and the ones to come later, and the adults who are walking around too, and old people like me and everybody. We're just grown-up babies too. Everybody deserves a much better situation, and you're the solution. So find out the specifics and let's use it together.